Hey everyone, I'm meteorologist Keith Carson. I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going to happen this weekend, which you may or may not want to hear, as this front, which is a warm front, is going to slide into our neck of the woods and then become stationary Saturday, Sunday, and then finally moving a little bit on Sunday night. The problem with this is that this stationary front puts us on the cold side. So if this warm front that becomes stationary were far to our south and west, we'd just have a chilly weekend. We'd be on the cold side of the front. If the front was to the north of the state, we'd be in the 60s or even 70s. But instead, the front is stalled just southwest of us, out towards about Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And that means we're on the cold side of the front, but they're close enough to the front to see precipitation, so moisture riding along that front. And this is a situation where we're going to see some accumulating snow. It starts late tonight, so this is Saturday at 2 a.m., so after midnight mostly is when the snow begins. Surface temperatures are conducive to the snow, only about 30 degrees, especially during the overnight hours. That's enough to get it done. And the snow becomes moderate, if not heavy, on Saturday morning. And I want to stress that I think Saturday morning over the southern half of the state or so is legitimately wintry. It doesn't even really feel like maybe a spring snowstorm. It feels like an actual snow event here. Temperatures into the 20s in a lot of spots. Snow is moderate with some heavy bands. There's a little mixing down into York County and into Portsmouth. Again, that's where the front itself will be. The snow continues through the morning, and then by late morning, it looks like the first bulk of precipitation moves offshore, and we get a break here through the middle of the day on Saturday where it's still cold and cloudy, but there's not as much moisture. Some isolated snow showers and squalls come back in the afternoon, especially over the southern half of the state. And then we get a break on Saturday night and into early Sunday. And that's exclusively because this front just sags a little to the south. So now it takes the moisture with it, and we are just on the cold side of the front. But you look Saturday night here, and it is cold, temperatures in the teens and 20s. Sunday morning, the front starts to come back in our direction. And so the models are putting down some freezing rain during that time period. And this is a very difficult call here because the models believe the temperature profile is conducive to freezing rain. The issue is that we're now during the day here. This is Sunday at 9 o'clock. So I think a big part of this forecast is going to be whether or not the models are right that we can put down freezing rain almost in April in the middle of the day. My sense is that it's going to be hard for us to do that. So we're going to keep an eye on that. If it happens, we've got a bigger ice event on our hands because there's a lot of moisture during the day on Sunday. My sense, though, is that we're either looking at sleet here or even just a mixture of snow and rain during the day Sunday, but that's the thing we have to watch. Sunday night, when the sun sets, now we're in a different situation because the time of the year is now irrelevant. The only reason it mattered to begin with is because you'd be getting incoming solar radiation even through those low clouds. Once the sun goes down, you don't have that anymore. So I do think Sunday night, regardless of what happens during the day on Sunday, we'll start seeing some freezing rain, and freezing rain that is accreting, meaning accumulating on surfaces through Sunday night, especially away from the coastline through the evening and into the mountains. And then we do change over eventually to rain on Monday. Lots to digest there, of course. But as far as total snowfall amounts, again, first half of the day Saturday, we're looking at 6 to 9 inches into the mountains. High terrain could see even more than that, honestly. 3 to 6 inches down to Lewiston, and very close in Portland. We've got 1 to 3 inches, but I think we're going to end up on the high side of that range, to be honest. It wouldn't shock me if we ended up pulling this 3 to 6 down later this afternoon, perhaps into this evening, but we'll keep an eye on that. Then the ice accretion, again, believing that most of this happens overnight on Sunday. These ice accretion numbers are not terrible, but we could see some bigger numbers, especially into New Hampshire and Vermont.